What is up, you guys? It is Zach coming at you with another video. Now today, we're going to be talking about... What the heck? Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry. Am I interrupting something?
Yeah, I'm a little busy at the moment.
Fine. I'll come back for you after you're done.
Okay, well, I'm going to take care of that later, but for today, we're actually going to be talking about one of my most anticipated games for this year. Now, if you guys know me, if you know this channel, then you'll know that one of my favorite games of all time is Until Dawn for the PlayStation 4. This game really got me into the narrative, story-driven horror genre, and I mean narrative games in general. It all started with Until Dawn. It's got a pretty cool story, it's got really engaging gameplay, it's got a lot of good spooks, it's just overall a really solid title. Well, we already know that this game is being remade this year, so that's really exciting, but there actually is another game made by this developer that is coming out. Now, another game that I like quite a bit, that I actually don't talk about that much, is Dead by Daylight. Yes, I played the Nintendo Switch version of this game. Please don't come at me. Anyways, Dead by Daylight is an asymmetrical horror game where there is one killer and 4 survivors, and your objective as the survivor group is to start up a handful of generators so that you can open a door and escape the killer, all while the killer is trying to kill you and prevent you from starting all those generators. I know a lot of people really take this game seriously because it's a very competitive game, but I just find it to be a really fun game to just hop on and play with my friends. It's one of those kind of games for me. I don't take it too seriously. So what if I were to tell you that the world of Dead by Daylight is being given a narrative story game by the developers of Until Dawn? This game is called The Casting of Frank Stone. Now, The Casting of Frank Stone was originally announced at last year's Game Awards, and when I saw it, I saw the SuperMassive logo. I already knew that there were rumors about an Until Dawn style game taking place in the Dead by Daylight universe. I've already heard those rumors, so when it got announced, I was very excited about it, and it just looked like a title that I was going to really enjoy. Well, we've been waiting patiently these past few months for more information on it, and during a Dead by Daylight 8-year anniversary stream, we finally got a gameplay trailer for The Casting of Frank Stone. Now, in this trailer, we don't really see too much gameplay, but we get enough information to get the general gist of what this game is going to be about. That's what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. I know this is kind of a long-winded introduction, but I wanted to get people introduced to the concept of this game before I dive into the news that we got today about it. So, if you enjoy this video and like horror games, I'm probably going to be doing another video on Until Dawn, the remake, I should say, not too long from now. So, if you enjoy this kind of content, do subscribe and hit that notification bell down below. And without any further ado, let's get on into it. So the description of the trailer gives a little synopsis on what the game's going to be about. So without any further ado, here you go. In the summer of 1980, 4 friends set out to make their mark on horror cinema. What they capture will trigger the unthinkable, decide their fate, develop their relationships, and guide their shoot of Murder Mill, a soon-to-be cult classic with an insidious influence. In The Casting of Frank Stone, a dark, branching narrative lies before you. Your decisions pen the script, the only thing standing between life and death for a group of young filmmakers. Change reality with your choices, unlock new paths with your actions, and discover what horrors your final cut may hold. In a story where every move matters, actions can speak louder than words. Explore a cinematic nightmare, testing your wits as you solve environmental puzzles and react to quick-time events. Guide your cast of characters through eerie locations and search for clues that hide the bigger picture. Coming 2024. So let's dissect that description, because we actually got a few clues from it. The big things being the obvious things that kind of link it to Until Dawn. It says quick time events, it says branching paths, all that typical stuff that you expect from a supermassive game. Diving more into the nitty-gritty, we get into the story a bit more. So the story focuses on 4 young filmmakers, so it seems like we're going to have 4 playable characters that we guide through the events of the night. Personally, I always like when these narrative games, particularly the ones done by Supermassive, have more characters, just because there's more characters' lives at stake, and it feels like there's a little more of a branching path when you have more people's lives that you can impact. So, given that this is actually the least of any Supermassive game, including the Dark Pictures anthology, it is kind of upsetting, but it does kind of go in line with Dead by Daylight, where you only have 4 survivors in your group. And now, one thing that this description didn't mention is that this game takes place outside of the fog, which is where Dead by Daylight kind of takes place in. So, the locations and a lot of the things that happen aren't exactly going to be familiar to Dead by Daylight fans. This is going to be outside the fog, new location, all that jazz. Which I do feel like is a little bit of a missed opportunity, because Dead by Daylight has quite a few notable locations in its maps and all of that, so it would have been cool if it did explore some of the locations from the game, as well as some of the survivors / characters from that game, which it doesn't seem to. I believe all of the characters in this game are completely unique. But it would be cool if in a future, update for Dead by Daylight, if the killer, Frank Stone, the survivors from the game, and maybe the location, Cedar Mill, whatever it was called, maybe all those be added to Dead by Daylight later. That would make up for it. Anyways, going back to what I was saying, like I said, 4 characters is all you have to work with. But I don't really mind it as long as the characters themselves are interesting, and each one of them has a lot of different ways to die. We don't really get any information on the characters, we don't know their names, we don't really know much about them, we just kinda get to see them a little bit in action. The one thing I'm wondering, given the description of this, is the whole point of the game, the plot of the game, is that these 4 people are there making a movie. Murder Mill, it's called. And it's supposed to be this, incredible horror movie that has a lasting impact on the universe. Now, what I'm wondering is, if the decisions you make and the journey you go on through your game actually results in you getting a movie at the end of it, you get a cinematic experience at the end of it that you unlock or that you make, that you can watch and share online, whatever, that goes by the choices that you made in the game. If you've played Supermassive games, then you know The Quarry, how that game has a movie maker mode, where basically you can just watch the events of The Quarry and kind of choose which characters live, which die, and that makes the movie for you. Maybe it would have something like that, but instead of you choosing which characters you want to live and which ones to die, that you actually don't get to choose, and it's all based off your outcome from the game. I think that would be a really cool way to go about this, because none of the other games that Supermassive have done have gone down this route, and it could make the game stand out a little bit. The last major point that we got from this trailer, or rather didn't get, was the release date. We don't have a release date yet. It's still scheduled for this year, so from now until December, but we still don't know when. I mean, Halloween makes sense. It's a horror game, naturally spooky. It looks like it takes place sometime later in the year, so autumn, Halloween time, October, November, September, sometime around there is kind of what I'm thinking. Maybe we'll see more at Summer Games Fest. The one thing I'm wondering about is Until Dawn, the remake, is going to be coming out this year, and yes, it is not developed by Supermassive Games, but I feel like I'm really hoping they don't get released around the same time, because they're both going to be very similar experiences, so I'd like them to be spread out a little bit, especially if Supermassive Games also release Directive 8020 this year, which is their next installment in the Dark Pictures anthology. I kind of really hope that they keep all this spread out, and of course, like I said, Supermassive have no control over Until Dawn, ironically, funny enough, but I don't know, I'm really excited for this game. I really think it's looking good, and I got nothing more to say on it right now. We're kind of being spoon-fed little bits of information, so hopefully, as the months go on, we learn more and more. And if you're excited for this game, excited for Until Dawn, Directive 8020, or any real horror games, let me know down in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what you all have to say. So, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe. All of that stuff down below. Hit that notification bell so you're notified of when I upload videos. And until next time, I'll see you. Oh, God.